Alright, I'm back once again, here to bare my soul to the people of the internet. This video is probably long overdue, but here it goes. So there's an estimated 1.8 million dead Ukrainians right now as a result of the Ukrainian-Russian war. And does it ever occur to anyone that this conflict might have started because of Pussy Riot getting arrested back in 2013? Might sound comical, but I don't say that without good reason. Because the Western narrative of this war is that it started in 2022, and that is just flat out not the case. The Donbass region, Crimea, they have been embroiled in a civil war since 2014. And that was the result of a election that happened shortly before that, where it was a seeming populist uprising against a sympathetic a president who was sympathetic towards Russia rather than sympathetic towards the EU. And the Euromaidan protests were supposedly about, ousting this Russia-aligned dictator and to get Ukraine into the EU. And that just sparked a whole civil conflict between mostly ethnic Russian Ukrainians and Ukrainians who couldn't give two shits about the globalist agenda being shoved down their throat by the West. And I mean, they're really caught between a rock and a hard place in Ukraine. It's hard to imagine what someone like me would do in a conflict like that, because at the end of the day, statism is statism, and it's really hard to say whether you'd have a better life under, a more nationalist, traditionalist type of government like Putin in Russia versus a globalist regime in the West. Although the selfish part of me, well, I won't get into that because that's just a selfish part of me, and I will try to remain objective about statism. The point is that this conflict should be over yesteryear. The West has been funneling so many billions of dollars towards this conflict that it's really, really hard to make the argument that Russia is the aggressor, especially when the CIA was all over that coup back in 2013, 2014, that uprising. The CIA has a long history of fomenting such coups in countries that they want to control and want to bring under the banner of globalism. The EU, NATO. That's why Zelensky has been so adamant about getting the Ukraine into NATO. That's the whole point of this conflict, is increased globalism. Western hegemony. And if it takes giving up the port of Crimea and the Donbass to Putin to end this war, to save how many millions of lives that this could, how many more millions of lives that this could take, that's the price me in the West. I mean, should I even have an opinion on this conflict? It's, I mean, I do hail ancestry from the Ukraine. I do. At least part of my lineage comes from there. And I'm telling you, as a Westerner, it's a really, really dirty, disgusting look when you're waving that yellow and blue flag and you're saying support Ukraine, because all you are is a fucking warmonger. These spoiled ass feminists waving that flag, they don't give two shits about the men who are dying over there. It's not their lives on the line. They're just, it's almost like they're just so happy that these men are going over there and dying for them, like drones. Like they're the queen bee and they're sending their drones off to fight. You know what you know what happens to male bees in the hive when they get too old? The females literally push them out of the hive to their deaths. They just kill them. They just discard them. And this is the story of much of historical warfare. The symbolism of the fleur-de-lis ultimately goes back to a bee, a matrilineal bee cult. Where the knights, the soldiers, they wear the fleur-de-lis as their crest, and they go off to fight. Like drones, like male bees, to their deaths, all in service of this female gynocracy. So all of these Western feminists, you know, male and female, who are waving this yellow and blue flag, it's just virtue signaling bullshit. It's just, Putin's a bigot. He arrested Pussy Riot. We gotta go kill the male dominator. It's like, you can't just have your matrilineal cult over here in the West. You can't let a patriarch be over in the East. I mean, fuck. It just goes to show how heartless and bloodthirsty and uncaring these feminists really are. You know, they made beers out here, yellow and blue, fuck Putin on it. It like, why do these people fucking care so much? It's a place they've never fucking heard of until 2022, and then, like, it's like they just want to genocide the white male population. And that's another thing, is it's recently come to my attention that white people are only 8% of the world's population. So, who's the real fucking minority? Blonde hair, blue eyes, these are all recessive phenotypes. So you could make the case that this conflict is white genocide, perpetrated mostly by white people, self-hating white people. you know, they're just all too eager to open up the lines of immigration into the West. And hey, you know, I'm not one for really believing in national boundaries, national borders, and all of that. Like I talked about in my last video, or one of my last videos. But when there's gangs of people who are out there perpetrating race-based gang rapes, maybe it's time for Europe to get their fucking guns back. Like, I'm not a fucking coward. Open up the national boundaries, but don't take away my guns. You know? If an army comes across that border, me and all the other fucking rednecks out here, you know, we can form a circle and, you know, deal with that how it needs to be done. But I don't understand how people can be so self-hating that they're willing to sacrifice their own. I mean, I've seen fucking soccer moms out here in Oregon fucking waving that flag like they're so fucking eager for their sons to go fucking die over in some fucking foreign land.